Welcome to Black Boss, where we highlight and celebrate Black entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Michelle, and today we have owner of Kingdom Boxing, Nikki Dennis. How are you today, Nikki?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm so glad you're here with me. I can't wait. We already started talking a little bit, and you kicked into some good stuff. So I'm excited. No, it's totally fine because we're gonna pick up, right where we left off. So, what is Kingdom Boxing? How long has it been in existence? And tell me the story what you were doing.
I purchased Kingdom Boxing Gym the last week in August of 2020 during the COVID shutdown.
Okay.
We had our opening October 24th. We had to shut down as a result of the city ordinance on November 20th. We weren't allowed to reopen until January 5th. And in less than 100 days of operation, we have over 100 members.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
So what, and congratulations for that. That's amazing. So what, as you were saying, how did you come into the space of buying Kingdom Boxing? What's kind of the story leading up to that?
So my son King, the gym is named after him, Kingdom.
Okay.
My son King is autistic. He did not become verbal until he was 4 years old. He didn't get out of diapers until he was 6 years old.
Okay.
He came to this boxing gym. I stumbled into this gym back in the latter part of 2018, a couple months after the death of my brother,
Okay.
who this story relates to him too.
Yeah.
I stumbled into this gym. I was looking for an outlet for my son. My son had participated in organized basketball. We didn't really have a favorable experience there. We attempted to participate in organized football, didn't have a good experience there. We tried a couple other things, a summer camp, to try to increase his ability to socialize with other children, as opposed to parallel playing, which is something that's very typical of autistic children. Right. Also to develop his language more because he mimics other people and other children. And to put him in environments where he's engaging with children that are atypical as opposed to solely autistic children, which his classroom is comprised solely of autistic children. At any rate, my son had a bullying experience on his school bus a couple months after my brother died, where a 12-year-old boy physically attacked my son and punched him in the eye, gave him a black eye.
Wow. Okay.
The incident was kind of my fault, and I'll tell you why. So my son had been telling me how the boys were on the school bus every day looking at Pokemon cards, and he rode a special needs bus. So I was aware of the fact that all of the children on the bus had some level of special need, whether it was physical or emotional or academic or what have you. At any rate, he shared with me that they would look at Pokemon cards on the bus, and that this one boy in particular made fun of the way he talked. My son's repetitive language was quite substantial at the time. Okay. And he's like, the boy asked me, why do I say the same things over and over again? And I'm stupid. And he makes fun of me. And I'm like, well, you know what, baby? I try to always educate my son about the fact that he has autism and what exactly it is. I'm aware of the fact that many people are just unaware of autism. And I can't have the expectation that other people are going to look at my son and automatically identify that there's something different about him. Okay. And then find a way to, support him in his difference. Right. I'd rather teach my son about his idiosyncrasies so that he too can teach others. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's all about education. So if I educate him, then he can educate other people. And that's one less person that's going to look at somebody like my son and assume things about him. You know,
Right.
autistic people don't have any physical attributes.
Right.
It's unlike Down syndrome,
Yeah.
we'll say.
Right.
So as a result, people see them and they don't automatically know that something is different, and they
Right.
observe their behavior and they can dismiss it as, oh, that's a bratty kid, a whiny kid. Oh, look at this kid falling on the floor or hiding under the table, covering his ears because he doesn't like the sound. He's rocking back and forth, humming, covering his ears. It's like, why, you know, what is he doing? So I teach my son this so that he can teach others. So at any rate, I had the conversation with my son. And I told him, I said, you know, when you go to get on the school bus, explain to the boy, I talk this way and I repeat things over and over again because I have autism. And
Right.
people with autism sometimes have repetitive language, and I do suffer from repetitive language. And I also, that day, I allowed my son to take 4 Pokemon cards to school. Now, typically, I never would allow him to take Pokemon cards to school. The other children, I would assume, have been sneaking them to schools to school because they weren't allowed.
Right.
But that day I said, I'm gonna let you take 4 cards so that way you have a bridge. You have a way to bridge with the children. And then in the process of that, you can explain it. Well, it didn't go that way.
Gotcha. I was about to say, I understand where your head was at though. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my son shared his Pokemon cards with the boy who had been teasing him and the other kids. And they were all looking at the cards together. My son starts to explain to the boy that he has autism. So when it nears the time for them to get off the bus, all the children are hiding their Pokemon cards in their pockets because they're not supposed to have them.
Right.
Well, the boy that had been teasing my son, who this boy was 2018. Yeah, he was about 4 years older than my son.
Okay.
My son's card.
Yeah, that's significant at that age.
Yeah, he snatched my son's cards.
Yeah.
And so my son said, no, those are my cards. And he tries to snatch them back. A tussle ensued, and the boy jumped on top of my son and punched him in the eye. It was quite a traumatic experience because he was very like jittery and nervous after that.
Yeah.
When the bus pulled up to the school, his one-on-one, because my son had a one-on-one and a TSS support person. They have different functions. A one-on-one is an academic support person.
Right.
A TSS is a behavioral support person.
Right.
So my son's one-on-one, he and his one-on-one had a very, very close relationship. She had been supporting him for a couple of years in school. She and I had a very close relationship. She would even babysit over the summer. When school was closed, I paid her to babysit and stuff like that. So when she saw him, she grabbed him, and he right away just cowered in her arms, and he was, you know, upset and things like that. She called me immediately, told me what went on and stuff. I felt bad because I realized that he was just trying to follow through with what I had told him.
Yeah.
I found out from his one-on-one that the other boy was getting in trouble. He was going to be suspended. So I actually called the school principal and went up to the school and advocated for them to not suspend the child that attacked my son. Just because I'm aware of the fact that all those kids on that bus are special needs. Right. And my son is included in one of those kids on that bus. And sometimes these kids make impulsive decisions. All right. That's a part of their disorders. Right. Sometimes they make impulsive decisions, and sometimes they make volatile decisions. And I'm not saying that that shouldn't be punished, but removing the child from his consistent environment at school where he's receiving his therapies and supports is not the answer. You get what I'm saying? Right. I wouldn't want it to be the answer for my child if he messed up and had a bad day and acted out. You know, so I took that into consideration. Of course, I was frustrated. This boy punched my son in the face. Of course, I was. But I have enough wherewithal as an adult. It's a big picture situation. And also, I have enough wherewithal as an adult not to be in the parking lot waiting for the little boy's mom. Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This isn't something that has been an ongoing issue. It isn't like this boy has been, you know, bullying my son for a long period of time. This is, I identified it as an isolated incident. Right, it was situational, yeah. Exactly, and an isolated incident with a child who too has special needs. Right. You know, I take that all into consideration. So I advocated for that child to not get suspended.
Right.
At any rate, after that, my son, he was very much so withdrawn. I could tell that he was really upset about it. He started to talk about the incident incessantly. Like he just every single day, all the time, he kept talking about it. And that's how I knew it was traumatic for him. You know?
Right. That it was impacting him. Yeah.
Exactly. I saw it affect his confidence drastically. And within his speaking to me about the incident, he started to speak very much so vengefully. Like I want to get revenge and I want to hurt this boy and just the language he would use became more and more volatile. And I knew that could be a problem.
Right.
I knew that would be a problem if my son actually saw the boy again. And I knew that could be a problem long term if I allowed this hatred to manifest in my son over a long period of time.
Yeah.
So
it's fantastic you had the wherewithal to do that.
Yeah, like I worry about his energy. You know what I'm saying? If you ever came to my gym, one of the first things people say is the energy in my gym is something unlike they've ever experienced at any other gym.
Awesome.
You know, all about positivity and welcoming energy and everybody being supportive and kind and patient with one another. That being said, I realized I needed to find an outlet for my son. And I needed to find a confidence builder for him. So I took him to a local kickboxing gym in our area, let him try it out for a day. He didn't like it. I took him to a karate dojo near my house, let him participate for a day. He didn't like it. The second we walked in this building, he said, "Mommy, I like it here." And a part of that was the physical vastness of my gym. Like this is a very big building, very high ceilings. So that allows for sound to travel further before it bounces off of walls.
Yeah.
So it's a sensory disorder.
Right.
So a lot of times autistic children will wear sound canceling earmuffs. They wear sunglasses and things like that to help them adjust to variances in lighting from indoor to outdoor or different rooms. So when my son said he liked it here before ever putting on a boxing glove, ever punching on a bag, I knew that it was because his sensory system was not being overwhelmed and overloaded.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this environment is physically comfortable for him. And then he started punching on speed bag and he met the manager of the gym who when I bought the gym, I hired him back to be the manager. The guy was also a coach. His name is Jesse. He met Jesse and he met Coach Ivan Mighty Mouse Robinson, who was a world two-time world champion himself. And a Hall of Fame boxer.
Awesome.
He met these guys and right away they linked in. They clicked. Right away my son liked them. And right away my son liked boxing.
Right.
And as he began to train and I became more acquainted with them and more comfortable as a parent, I decided to remove myself from the training environment because I was a distraction for my son.
Gotcha. Okay.
Every single time the coaches would yell at him or tell him what to do or something, he looked back at me, you know? Every 2 seconds, you know, he does a couple laps running around. He comes back to mommy, can I have some water? And I'm giving him a little water. And it's like this baby moment. And I'm like, this is not what the training is supposed to be like for him, you know? Gotcha. And then also my son is very protective of me. I got divorced right around that time period from his father. I had been married for 20 years to his father. And so anytime he saw a man, it could have been the manager asking me to fill out a piece of paperwork. It could have been a trainer asking me my son's weight. Every time he saw a man talking to me, it's like, get away from my mom, you know? So I was a distraction, you know? I was a distraction. So I explained to the coaches, I was like, I need to remove myself. I don't want to leave him here. So I'm just going to sit in my car in the parking lot And, you know, when class is done, I'll come in and I'll get him, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm just sitting in the car because he's not going to respect you. He's not going to follow your instruction. He's not going to be focused on the instruction and really take in what you're trying to teach him if I'm present.
Yeah.
And so I removed myself. And when I removed myself, that's when he was like a fish to water. Like, girl, I'm telling you, he's so good. And most importantly, he loves it. He's confident. It helped him. Yeah, it helped with his vocabulary substantially, you know, because my son has been his entire life in speech therapies, behavioral therapies, occupational therapies, all the therapies that you get for him. And it helped with his vocabulary. It helped with his ability to communicate with other children and other people. And as his confidence built, he started helping to work with younger kids. He started helping the trainers, working with younger kids.
Yeah,
that's when I saw that, I'm like, this is working.
Yeah, right.
It's working, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was just so happy. And he was so dedicated to boxing. We made sure he was here every class, me and my older son. And that went on for about 2 years. And then COVID hit and the gym shut down.
Gotcha.
And we expected, you know, the gym to be shut down. But then after things started to reopen in the summer months, I was able to get in touch with the former owner, and he was trying to provide one-on-one training for my son at his other facility. They had a second gym in Roxborough area here in Philadelphia.
Right.
And we tried that, and then some things transpired, and as a result, the owner lost his business establishment.
Gotcha.
And I found out about it. I took my son to another gym for him to visit to see if he would like it. Before we could even go all the way in the building, he's like, "Mommy, this is not my gym.
He didn't like it.
This is not my gym."
Yeah.
And it was something about the way that he said "my gym."
Yeah.
It was something about the way that he said "my gym." He felt like this was his gym, not so much in ownership, but just his home. When he said "my gym," like I got like a home feeling, you know? And I was like, I gotta do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I bought it.
That's awesome. I'm about to say, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I bought it. And the first person I reached out to was the young man who I saw was the manager here before. His name is Jesse. And I reached out to him and I'm like, I'm about to buy the gym. And he's like, wait a minute, you're King's mom. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm about to buy the gym. And if I buy it, I want to know if you'll work for me. And he's like, but you're King's mom. You're not a boxer. You're not a trainer. He's like, you don't even box. And I'm like, I know. And he's like, what do you do? Like, what do you do for a living? Like, I've never had a conversation with you about what do you do? And I'm like, that's not important. He's like, how are you going to just buy the gym? And I'm like, I'm going to buy it, but I need to know if you'll come and work for me. And he was like, yeah, if you seriously buy it, yeah, I would love to come back and work at the gym. I was like, okay. The next day I signed the papers.
Wow.
And I bought the gym. And then I asked him to help me reach out to Ivan Robinson. I told him, I said, Jesse, I want Ivan to be the lead trainer here. And he's like, well, you know, I've told other people that you own the gym now. People have been trying to get in contact with you, asking me for your phone number. I told him, I said, don't give anybody my phone number. I don't want to talk to anybody until I speak to Ivan first. I want to speak to Ivan. And then I finally got in touch with Ivan and I asked him to come down to the gym to meet with me. By this point, renovations were already underway. Okay. I put a brand new roof on the building, had to build an exterior wall in the front, all new walls put up, drywall walls put up in the front event space, painted the gym throughout, did the floors, you know, just a bunch of renovations going on. And in the midst of these renovations, I also had Oskino here, Oskino the rapper from State Property.
Yeah, Philly.
Exactly. I had him here painting a mural for me. Now, here in the gym was already an existing mural. As a matter of fact, there were several existing murals here that was painted by an artist called Art Life Mike.
Okay.
And initially I was trying to contact Art Life Mike to paint the mural that I wanted in the gym of my brother. And I also wanted to contact Art Life Mike because there was a couple murals in the gym that I was going to have to cover up in the renovations. I needed to cover them up for aesthetics. And I also needed to cover them up because they had branding of the former ownership.
Right. Okay.
And so I just wanted to talk to that artist and respectfully, you know, get his approval to cover up some of his pieces here. And then also extend to him, you know, my request to paint an additional mural here.
Right.
And we could not find Art Life Mike. As a matter of fact, the rumors that I got from someone is that he's passed away. I don't know for sure, but we've not been able to find this guy on social media or anywhere. At any rate, I said to myself, I said, I need somebody to paint this mural who, number one, is from Philly.
Yeah, okay.
And number two, somebody who could understand my brother's story, because I needed my love for him to be shown in this mural, but I needed someone to also understand how great of a man he was, and for that to come through in the painting. Right. And I bumped into an Instagram page where somebody had pictures that Oskino had painted of someone's loved one that had passed away. And I thought his illustration was beautiful. He hadn't painted any murals at that point. Oskino had only done canvas painting. Okay, gotcha. And I reached out to Oskino. I asked him to come meet with me. I spoke to him and his girlfriend, Ashley, who she helps him with his management and everything. Okay. And I explained to him what I wanted. And I explained to him, more importantly, who my brother was and what this mural needed to represent. Right. And he explained to me, he said, you know, I've never painted something this big before. I've never painted an image this large before. And I said, it's okay. Like, I trust you. And I know, I can feel it within my being that I'm supposed to ask you to do this. So I'm going to give you a blank canvas and you take as long as you need. Yeah. And you just paint what you feel. And he's like, well, how do you want it to look? What do you want? And I'm like, I don't want to give you any leads. You do what I want you to paint from inspiration. Yeah. Because then I know it'll be natural. Right. I sent him a bunch of different pictures of my brother, stand-up pictures, face pictures, pictures of me and my brother, a bunch of different images. Yeah. And we lined it up and he came into the gym and he started painting. And it took him about 3 weeks. There was a couple times he stayed overnight here in the gym with two of his children and his girlfriend. They slept in my ring a couple nights overnight because Oskino, he loves to paint late at night. Gotcha. So that was just the process. Yeah. That's just his process. He loves to paint late at night. And he loved the solitude of the gym. He liked how still and quiet it is. So he's like, you know, I want to stay overnight. So we would lock him in the gym and everything and give him a key to the back door and he would paint all night. So fast forward by a couple of days, I invite Ivan to come down here to meet with me. And as we're meeting, Oskino, we met early in the morning and Oskino was cleaning up his paints from painting overnight the night before. And I introduced him and Ivan to one another. And Ivan said, you know, who's this guy that he's painting? Like, I feel like I recognize this guy. Like, I feel like I know him. And I'm like, oh, that's my brother. He was murdered by a Philadelphia police officer here in the Northeast. Yeah. And Ivan said, what's his name? And I said, his name is Jeffrey Dennis, but people call him Floyd. Ivan said, oh my God, I trained him up until he died. Wow. What? He said, I swear to God, I trained that guy up until he died. And Ivan whipped out his phone and showed me a video of him training my brother a couple weeks before he died. Now, mind you, at this point, Ivan had been training my son for almost 2 years. Right? And he never knew that he had trained my brother, and I never knew that he was my brother's trainer. Had no idea. That's incredible. Had no idea. And
Wow.
Ivan was like, he's like, I love that guy. I respect that guy. Like he was
Wow.
such a good person. And I'm like, that's my brother. And it brought tears to
Yeah,
my eyes because I'm looking at my brother's face on the wall
absolutely.
and the mural's undone, you know?
Yeah,
And I'm feeling Ivan's energy as he's explaining to me his impression of my brother as a man and a person. And it's
yeah,
like, I was like, this is right. You
yeah,
know, it's
yeah.
serendipitous. You know what I
Right,
mean? This is
right.
right.
Absolutely. All the
And
synchronicities, just
yes,
yes,
the serendipity of it all. And
yes,
I explained to Ivan what I wanted to do, what I was trying to build, and I told him, I need your help. I need you.
yeah,
And he's like, well, I'm sure, other trainers have gotten in contact with you. How many trainers do you have? And I said, Ivan, I have not spoken to another trainer. And he's like, why? I heard from a couple guys that they're going to call you. And I said, Ivan, I refused their phone calls. And he's like, why? I said, because I don't want to speak to anybody until I speak to
to
you
you.
first.
Yeah,
I wanted you. I wanted you. And I want you to
yeah,
be the lead here. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you're my guy.
yeah.
And any trainer that you don't approve of, I don't want him here. He's
Mm,
like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, but it's your gym. And I said, yes, it's my gym. But I'm telling you, I need you. I need you to be my
yeah.
partner. I need you to help me figure this out. I have no
So,
boxing expertise. I'm a
I was going to
businesswoman.
say that was smart. That was smart.
Yeah,
I was
I
going to
know
say,
how to run a
as far as the
business.
entrepreneurship, I was about to say in business, if you what you don't know, find help. It's like
And find
nobody
the
nobody can
best.
know everything.
And,
Yes.
find the best. And
Yeah.
he is the best in the city, pound for pound.
Yeah.
And right then and
That's
there, he said,
incredible.
yes. He said, Nick, I'll work with you. I'll work with you.
Yeah.
And we went from there.
Yeah.
We went from there. And Oskino, finished the mural, and it's beautiful. Unfortunately, the day of the unveiling of the mural, it was such a horrible incident. But the day of the unveiling, just as Oskino and his family got here for us to unveil the mural, which was also the day of our grand opening, October 24th,
Okay.
we got the news while we were here at the gym about to unveil my brother's mural that Oskino's son and his son's girlfriend, who was pregnant, got into a car accident here in Philadelphia, and they died. And
That's
so, yeah, it was horrible. So
yeah.
I had to unveil the mural by myself with a very heavy heart.
Yeah.
Oskino and I, we built, and myself, Oskino, and his girlfriend Ashley, we built a rapport and a friendship throughout the time
Yeah.
period that he was painting the mural. So I very much so, was connected to them, and just felt just as horrible as
Right.
any other spectator observing the pain that they were going through. And they were here in my office, in this office, they got
Yeah.
the call.
Wow.
So it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And so
That's
when
right.
Oskino came back to sign the mural, he also included his son's name and his son's girlfriend's name on the mural.
Okay. Dang.
And
Oh,
yeah, and he
that's
also surprised
heartbreaking.
me with
Yeah.
a gift. And the gift that he surprised me with was that he had added black light elements to my brother's mural.
Oh,
And
wow.
he said to me, he said, as I got to know your brother through you, and you explained to me how significant that relationship was with you, and your family, your lack of family relationships that you have now, he's like, I know your brother wants to watch over you. He was like, so I added black light elements so that even when it's dark in here, your brother is watching. He's always watching.
Oh,
When the lights are out, he's watching. And that was his added gift to me
yeah.
in the mural. And it's
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Man, I'm about to say you got my heart heavy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. It's such a, I mean, it's a beautiful story. It has its elements, it has its aspects, but all of the things within tragedy to get you to a point of being able to build this space. Because I've seen, looking through your Instagram, I've seen that you have several, youth in there. And like you said, you have 100 members now. and you started out with wanting to create a safe space for your son and also to memorialize your brother, just a space for your family. I guess how important is it to you to maintain that sense of safety and space for everyone who comes into your gym?
Oh, it's severely important.
Okay.
You know, when I first bought this place, they were selling drugs outside my front door.
Wow.
You know, they were selling drugs
Yeah.
outside my front door. And I had to make some deals out here, you know, to get them to agree to move their operations down the street.
Got you.
And you know, I had to be vigilant in combating the homeless, but also the addicts, because we're a stone's throw away from Kensington and Allegheny.
Okay.
Allegheny is the only open air drug market in the United States of America.
Yeah.
It's the only place where people are being completely allowed by police officers and all of our elected officials to utilize drugs openly, sell and purchase drugs openly, right on the street.
Factual information.
Yes, you
Sure.
drive down Kensington and Allegheny here in Philadelphia.
Yep.
The neighborhood is referred to as Kensington Beach, and you will see people injecting heroin, fentanyl into their faces and their bodies right there on the street corner.
Yes.
You see people overdosing on the sidewalk or in the middle of the street. You will see people rolling around on the ground in traffic, high off of drugs. And the police officers are standing right there. The city of Philadelphia is giving money to fund programs that are supporting their drug use. They're giving the drug addicts clean syringes. They're giving them torches to light up the drugs. They're even going so far as to give them plastic and copper fashioned crack pipes for free. That's what our tax dollars is being used for.
Yeah.
Not to buy books in our schools when we have schools shutting down all over the city. Okay, not to make these kids safer with more supports in the school and gun detectors and things like that. Not paying these poor teachers who bust their behinds day in and day out to be supplements to households that don't even have parents sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay? They won't give them money to have health insurance and the things that they need, but they will give these drug addicts at Kensington and Allegheny all the tools they need to continue to use drugs and destroy the community. And the majority, let me just say this, the majority of those addicts down there at Kensington and Allegheny are not even from that neighborhood.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
They're not even from that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the people in that neighborhood could tell you. I'm from Hancock and Dauphin, born at Episcopal Hospital, okay? The people at Kensington and Allegheny are not even from North Philly. They're coming in from the suburbs, from across the bridge. They're coming in from other areas with their opioid addictions. And because they're allowed to use drugs here legally, they're allowed to buy drugs here legally, they stay. Yeah. And they take residence. And our elected officials and our police officers are allowing this shit to happen in our community.
Absolutely.
So here at my gym, I have to combat a whole lot of stuff that's going on outside these doors.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's okay. I have a plan of enterprise for that too. I've now helped a friend of mine who is also a business owner. She's opening up a daycare center across the street from my gym. And I'm going to help more of my friends and family members open up businesses along this corridor, because I can't fight what's going on outside by myself.
Right.
But if I help them with their businesses, I'm an accountant. I'm a very successful accountant. If I help them with their businesses, now it's us against what's going on outside this door.
Got you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. Absolutely, it's strength in numbers.
And strength in numbers. So, you know, I've had to talk to the people who conduct their, you know, illegal business outside of my gym, who, you know, can legally conduct this business outside my gym because it's an open air drug market. They're allowed to sell the drugs.
Right.
okay? And negotiate with them to take what they're doing to another area just so that my members can have safe passage. You know, I
Right.
explain to them, I'm not here to preach, to tell you don't sell drugs, don't do this. You heard that 1,000 times, and clearly it didn't work. The cops pick you up, they beat you up, they kill you, you kill each other, okay? You become drug addicts. Some of the drug dealers become drug addicts themselves. All of this shit is going on. It's not going to stop anytime soon. Little old me is not going to stop it.
Yeah.
But my request,
Well, you
give
damn sure
safe
putting a dent in
passage.
it. Yeah.
You give safe passage to the people coming in and out of this building. I got women and children coming in and out of here.
Right.
Okay. And I told them, I said, listen, and I don't know any other way to say this to you, ma'am. Okay. But to be frank, I told them, I said, y'all putting these young boys out on the block who you know are just in a position of desperation. You know what I'm saying? Somebody lost a job at home, the lights getting cut off, there's no running water, grandma just died, my girlfriend is pregnant, you know, I got kicked out of school, whatever the circumstances may be. And you give them a pack for them to go out on the block and start selling your product.
Yeah.
You know they not built for this shit.
Yeah.
And what happens is they get robbed. And when they get robbed, now you want to kill them because your shit got taken. The cops come and grab them and take them in for questioning. They're afraid of the charge. So what do? They point you out in the lineup. Now you're indicted. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your business or how you run your business, but help me and allow me to help you. Those young boys that you know is not built for this shit, send them to me.
Send them my way. Man, you something, Nick. I dig you. I see the vision, and I appreciate your heart. I appreciate your heart and your courage to do what needs to be done when you see it needs to be done. We need that.
Yeah, I told them, send them to me. I know it's some out here that are broken. All right.
You're absolutely right. You absolutely right.
And they have no problem with doing your business and you know, doing the things that you want them to do. Fine. You keep those. But the ones that you know are just hungry. They just looking for a safe place. They just looking for a job. They just looking for a chance. Don't take them. Because they're just going to be a problem for you. Send them to me. I have men here of virtue that can teach them how to be men.
Yeah,
that's Let me help you get them out the way. You don't got to kill them. Send them to me.
Yeah.
My gym is over 7 days a week.
Right.
7 days a week.
You got a serious business acumen. That was I mean, you got to be a certain kind of person to recognize that. And I have my own history in Philly, and particularly in that area and all that stuff, just in working with youth in that area. And you are 110% correct. Nothing you have said has been a lie to my knowledge. So the fact that you are, combating it in a way, combating it in a way where it's like, this how this shit work. Like in a sense, it's like you didn't create the situation, but you understand all parties involved, you understand all motivations involved, and you were able to step up, have the heart to say what you want and what you're in it for, and defend the people that you are, doing your best to defend.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I told them, I said, y'all from this neighborhood too.
Yeah.
Y'all had little, football clubs when y'all was young. Y'all had little power leagues. Y'all knew of a couple young boys that was doing kind of well, and whatever happened, situations transpired in their household, and then they fell victim to the streets. That may have even happened to you and been your story too. Help me save some of them young boys so they don't get lost out here. Y'all still gonna do what y'all gonna do. Cool. I can't stop that.
Yeah.
But send me the ones that ain't built for this shit. Because that's your brother. That's your nephew. That's your son. That was you. That was you once upon a time. And if somebody just had saved you, if somebody had just given you another way, at that point in time when you made that switch, you might have wound up being somebody else. Now you deep in. Now
Yeah.
you deep in. It is what it is, okay?
Right.
Life is about choices. But
Absolutely.
these kids, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Send them to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Send them to me.
You have over 100 members.
Over 100 members in less than 100 days of operation.
Look at that.
Less than 100 days of operation. We have technically only been open for about 70 days.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And I just want to also add to this point, you know, I just also want to add to this because I don't want to negate also another substantial part of the reason why or what drove me to do all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I am a breast cancer survivor.
Yes.
Okay. I lost my breast in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Tumors were found in my breast by my aunt, who was teaching me how to do an examination on myself. So by happenstance, my aunt felt tumors in my breast.
Wow.
I had never felt another woman's breast before, so I assumed everybody's breast felt like mine. Yeah. And I assumed that if something was wrong, the doctors would find it.
Right, they would know.
And at 35 years old, it just wasn't a focus for me, breast cancer.
Right.
And I had a lot going on in my household at the time. I was very busy as an entrepreneur. And my older son had just came out to my ex-husband and I as bisexual. My ex-husband was not welcoming of it. As a result of his non-acceptance of my son's, I wouldn't call it a lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. Nobody chooses to endure the pain that my son had to endure from the rejection of his father. But my ex-husband was not accepting of my son's sexual, it's not even a preference, it's just who he is. But nonetheless, my ex-husband wasn't accepting.
Right.
So I knew I had some tough decisions to make as a parent. And the first of which was to end my marriage of 20 years in protection of my son and protection of his sanity and mental health and in protection of the overall peace of our household. Right. I could not allow that element to destroy my child, even if it was his own father. Nonetheless, I digress. During that same time period, about 3 weeks after my son came out to us, I was at a family event, a bunch of women in my family. My aunt started to speak about one of her colleagues who had been recently diagnosed with breast cancer. She started to talk to all of us in a group about whether or not we examine ourselves. I have another aunt who is, she's not a blood relative aunt. She's like married to my uncle, but it's my aunt. Yeah. And she's a 2-time breast cancer survivor. We all have been walking for breast cancer for her for about, I don't know, 7, 8 years by that point. I have been going to the breast cancer walk for years in support of her. Yeah. And so within the conversation, my aunt who had a colleague who had breast cancer, she started asking us about if we check ourselves, if we know how to check ourselves. And I was actually the youngest woman in our group. And I have really large breasts. And, you know, I shared the fact that, you know, I don't check myself. It's too much to figure it out. I let the doctors do that. I'm sure if something's wrong, the doctor would know. And as a joke, she kind of dared me to pull out my breast for her to teach me how to check it. And we're all, you know, laughing. This is all in jest. You know, this is all in jest. Right. And we're laughing. And I'm like, oh, you just want to see my boobs, and we're making jokes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you want to see it? So I pull out my boob or whatever. We're all dying laughing. And my aunt was like, okay, this is what you do. And so she starts, you know, pressing on my breast or whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell my husband, you pressing on my breast, you gonna have to take me out to dinner after this. You know, we making jokes. Right. And at some point, my aunt's laughing face grew still. And she was like, Nikki, like, I feel something in there. Like, it feels like a rock or something. Like, you got something in there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What? That's always been there. Like, it's all, you know, I got a bunch of, like, you feel a bunch of lumps and stuff. And she's like, no, Nikki, it's not supposed to feel like that. Yeah. And then she opened her shirt and she was like, feel mine. And it wasn't some weird, feeling each other moment or whatever.
No, just
But I had
education.
never felt another
Yeah.
woman's breast. So I thought everybody
Right.
smelled like mine. And
Yeah,
so I felt hers and I realized hers didn't feel like mine.
right.
And then another of my aunts came over and she checked and she's like, yeah, something's
Yeah.
off. You need to go to
Ah.
the doctor. And so of course I made a couple jokes just to pass the vibe.
Yeah.
And I assured my aunts I would get it checked out. But what they
Right.
didn't know was I was going through turmoil in my household with my son coming out and my ex-husband not
Yeah.
accepting it.
Yeah.
And me running my business. And, I was like,
So
and
much
so
going on.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
my aunt was calling me literally every day or every other day for about a week and a half saying, Nikki, I keep having dreams about you. I
Oh,
hear you
wow.
in my sleep crying. I need you to go to doctors, make that appointment.
Yeah.
I made the appointment. I saw the doctor. He immediately felt something too. And then a long stream of mammograms and ultrasounds and AVAs and MRI and biopsies and blood tests and blood tests and blood tests and all
Wow.
of that ensued. And the end result was I had some cancer cells.
Right.
And so that being said, I've worked really, really hard for a long time from my days that started at 2220 North Hancock Street, Hancock and Dauphin, right down the street from North Square Park. I went to Hunter Elementary School on Dauphin Street.
Mhm.
I busted my ass for a long time and I made a lot of money and did a lot of things.
Yeah.
But when I was sick, it wasn't no check I could cut.
Yeah.
It wasn't nobody I could call. It wasn't nothing I could do to get myself out of that situation. Shit, I didn't even know how I got in that situation. I had
Right.
no history of breast cancer in my family.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Doctors can't tell you if you ate something bad, if you didn't do this, and maybe you shouldn't have breastfed. Maybe you should have did this because I breastfed both of my kids.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there was nothing I could do. So I spent a lot of nights, a lot of mornings, a lot of time, on my knees, crying, begging
Yeah.
God to let me stay here.
Yeah.
To let me stay here for my kids, to let me stay here to find my purpose, to
Right.
let me stay here. And if he let me stay here, I will be of service to others.
Wow.
I would change
You holding up
the
your
way
end of
I
the
live.
bargain.
And this place, that's what this place is given to me. And
Yes.
that's why I had to tell you this part. Because
Yeah.
it's not just about, some lady, wants to help the community and, support her child and people with autism. Yes, all of that is true. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But this place is giving me an opportunity to stand on those promises that I made when I was begging for my life.
Yeah.
This is giving me a chance too. So it's not just about my son. It's not just about my brother. You know what I'm saying? This is giving me a chance to fulfill those promises that I made.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing here at Kingdom.
Right. That's beautiful. I mean, we've been in this interview for quite some time. I didn't get through probably any of the questions.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
That is not a reason to apologize because what you decided to bring was better than any questions I could have asked you. I've tremendously enjoyed hearing your story, hearing where your faith comes from, hearing why you're out here doing this. Because I mean, for you, that's a quotable. For you to say this. What I've created in business gives me the opportunity to stand on the promises that I made to God when I was begging for my life. That is like, that'll stick with me. When I have interviews with people and just certain things, they say certain things, and that what you just said, well, it humbles me. It makes me think about my own life and my own gratitude and my own level of service. Yeah, that was incredibly inspiring. Thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability and really sharing your story. And I appreciate you being out here. I really, really do. You know, this gym is truly a reflection of your own personal endeavors and your own personal obstacles to have, you know, climbed and gotten over, and being able to hold this up as a place. You know, you are keeping your promise. You are truly keeping your promise, and it shows. You know, your passion shows. Everything you just said. We need you. I'm glad you out here. I
Thank
am.
you. I appreciate it. And we
Yeah.
have, just to let you know, we have,
Mhm.
you know, for anybody that sees this video, my businesses have established a fund here in my brother's name. It's called the Floyd Fund. And the
Okay.
Floyd Fund gives free 1 month memberships for victims of gun violence who are Philadelphia
Wow.
residents. All you have to do is be a resident of the city of Philadelphia and have
Yeah.
been shot before. I don't care how you were shot. I don't care who fault it was. I don't care if you shot yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? If
You
you've
don't even
ever
know the
been
story.
shot,
Right.
you can come here for a month and work out for free in my brother's name.
Wow.
And the fund also pays for the membership and private training fees for at-risk youth whose families can't afford it.
Right.
We also have clothing donations here. Some of the local churches and Walmart and stuff like that have been bringing coats, hats, gloves, scarves, underwear, you know, all shoes. Some of my friends have come here and dropped off 10, 20 pairs of sneakers that we've given out to the kids here. And me and some of my trainers on the weekends, every few weeks, we pile up all the clothes in book bags and we walk through Kensington and Allegheny along with my son, King, because it's important to me that he has this experience too.
Right.
Walk through the community, and when we encounter children, we just start putting clothes on.
Wow.
We don't care if, you know, we're not asking for money or anything. We don't even ask any questions. We see a kid, start putting stuff on them. They're like, no, I don't have money. I don't need this. I have a coat. We just start putting it on. We just give
That's awesome.
And I've now built in the front of my gym a juice bar. I have an event space. I have commercially clean kitchen. We're getting a nutritionist and a chef in here to do meal planning and meal prep. And the reason why I decided to build a juice bar here is because this neighborhood is a nutritional desert, miss.
Yeah.
I can buy a gun outside my doors faster than I can buy a banana.
Yeah.
Okay. I watch kids come into my gym every day with a bag of chips and a Pepsi.
Yeah.
To train. Okay. And I'll never forget, one day I had bought too much fruit at the produce store for my house. So I brought the excess fruit here to the gym and put a little fruit bowl on the countertop. I watched a 12-year-old boy try to peel a green apple like an orange because he had
he didn't know what it was. Wow.
Had never seen a green apple before.
Yeah.
After that, I started filling that fruit bowl every couple of days. I keep that fruit bowl full all the time. And I realized the fruit bowl wasn't enough. So I built a juice bar in the front of my building. I invested a couple $1,000s, built a juice bar in the front of my building that'll have service to the public and also service inside my gym to give families more nutritional options. And once I hopefully hire a chef and nutritionist to run the commercial kitchen that I have here in my building, we'll be able to do meal prep and meal planning for families, and also give people free recipes for nutritional meals that they can make at home.
Awesome.
It's easy enough for me to judge people and say, how dare you bring your kid to class with a bag of chips and a Pepsi?
Yeah, but if you don't know or you don't have.
Exactly. Without realizing that might be their only option.
Absolutely.
Because the places around here don't have any other options for them. And many families, when you look at the parents, when you look at the grandparents, you can see it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Of obesity, lack of exercise, things like that. So how can you expect a parent to teach a child something that they were never taught themselves?
Right. Absolutely.
Now I can sit here and judge people. I can sit here and point a finger and say, how dare you? What the fuck is that going to do? We got enough people doing that to us. And these young people, these young people, they growing up, and where I come from in the same
Right.
conditions I came from. They
Right.
don't know no better. So I'm gonna give them more choices.
Yeah,
That's what I can do, is give them some more choices. And that's what I'm
absolutely.
trying to add on to our boxing gym. That's what I'm adding on. The juice bar is done. Renovations just wrapped up 4 days ago. So opening it very, very soon. The kitchen is already ready. I'm just shopping around trying to find the right chef, somebody who has, my perspective from a nutritional perspective, my perspective
Right.
in mind in their cooking, and just trying to give families better options.
That's fantastic. That is thank you for everything that you shared today.
Thank
That's
you.
I
Thank you.
hope nothing but the best for you. You know, your success is truly the success of an entire community. So, for you to continue to thrive it's only great service for other people. So I truly wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you
So
so much.
no problem. So Nikki, there's two things I have left for you to do for me. One,
Okay.
with all the great information you just gave, please tell the people where they can find you, link up with you, contact you.
Yes. So we're on Instagram. As a matter of fact, at this point, Instagram is our sole source of marketing and promotion.
Okay.
I wanted to test what kind of turnout we would get without the added expense of advertising and promotion from outside sources.
Okay.
I wanted to test social media's ability to help in marketing a service business. I mean, my accounting firm is a service business, but we don't utilize social media in any way, shape, or form for marketing because I provide a service that's business to business, B2B.
Right. Okay.
But with my gym, I just wanted to test and see, what kind of response we would get. And I'm telling you, it's been significant. So you can follow us on Instagram at The Kingdom Boxing. On Instagram, The Kingdom Boxing. And
Awesome.
of course, you can call us up 215-839-1400, 215-839-1400. And you can just come on by. We're open 7 days a week.
Awesome.
Right here in Frankfurt.
What's the address of the gym?
4434 Griscom Street. 4434 Griscom Street. And our front address is 4416 Frankfurt. So no matter what side of the building you come in on, we're going to get you in here.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. I'm about to say the second thing is Black Boss tradition. Everybody I have on Black Boss, I have them say their name and say that they are a Black Boss.
Thank you. Well, my name is Nikki Dennis, and I'm from Philly, and I'm a Black Boss.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a girl. Yeah.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I just renovated in the front of my building a 2,000 square foot event space.
Okay.
It's an event space that's for rent, but also we're utilizing it as a community resources room. So anybody in the community that needs a space, for an event, so long as there's no profit involved, so long as your event is geared to servicing the public in some way, shape, or form, you can use my roof, you can use my lights, you can use my heat.
Wow.
You come on down to the Kingdom, and I'll give you a place.
Wow.
For you to reach other people.
That's great. I'm so you put such a smile on my face. Like I love your vision. I love your tenacity, just so many things. I'm happy you're in the space you're in. And I'm happy that God saw it fit to bless you in ways that he knew that you would be a blessing to other people. Because you're really driving home that promise. So I hope you know that, and I hope you feel that, and I hope you continue to do your thing, continue to thrive.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm about to say it's been my absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Yes. You have a fantastic day. I know you're already in the gym. So you can go ahead, I'm about to say, help King out. And
Thank you. I gotta get King on here.
Right.
Because he now has a vending machine company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for Christmas, instead of buying him the new PlayStation, I bought him a vending machine that's here in our gym. And now he sells vending machines to other kids, only the kids. He sells vending machines to other kids.
Oh man, that immediately, I gotta tell my fiance about that. He would flip out to hear that I did. Awesome. Okay, thank you. I'm about to say,
we need more black bosses, you know?
Little jewels in there.
We need more black bosses, you know?
Absolutely, 110%. I'm about to say, and you know, for him to come on and have that experience, I would love it. Maybe we could set something up. I'm about to say, I got kids too, so maybe we can do a little interview situation. That could be really cool.
That'd be cool. Cool.
Well, thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Give the kids a hug and just continue to do your thing, sis. Continue to do your thing.
Thank you so much. Thank
No
you.
problem.
I appreciate you guys. Stay black.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah. God bless you. You have a good one.
God bless you. Enjoy your Sunday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was Nikki Dennis, owner of Kingdom Boxing. Like I said, I didn't get through any of my questions, but the story that was told, I mean, she was on a roll. I wanted to hear the story that was being told. I'm so happy that, you know, I'm happy that her life has brought her to this point. You know, it hasn't been without trials, it hasn't been without tribulations, clearly, but just the heart, her courage, you know, you could tell she's really speaking from the heart. She's passionate about her community. She's passionate about, you know, the youth. She's knowledgeable about the community that she's in and the way things work. And I just think she's a fantastic person to be in that space. That was such a good interview. I am truly humbled by the story, and just humbled by what a person can truly do when they get in contact with their purpose of what can be. So thank you so much for watching. For full episodes of Black Boss, go on YouTube at Black Boss Certified. For Instagram, follow me to continue the celebration of Black entrepreneurship. Follow me at Black Boss_certified, and I am Black Boss Certified on Facebook. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Thank you. Everybody, take care. Peace.